John's handwriting is, and I'm not joking, John would confess this, I think, that his handwriting is not particularly readable.
You know, that may be bad, but I'll tell you the worst. Steve Lawson's wife writes "calm down" inside his sermon notes.
Is
that true? Is that true?
No, but she sits on the front row and gives me what's known as the look, which means settle down. I'm whatever RC is.
That was the mic drop right there.
Bob Godfrey just got baptized. Let me say it before Bob does.
Wouldn't you know the Baptist would drop it in the water? Yeah.
There, you're in.
He's been converted to sprinkling.
That's all you need. Just a little dip will do you.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Steve, will you tell your wife to turn that camera off, that she's hitting me with that red dot every second? That's your wife, isn't it? Sitting right there in the front row, waving at me?
Yes, I see her. You want me to tell her to turn off the red dot? Is that what you're saying? What red dot?
On her phone or her camera, or whatever it is, she's aiming at me.
We all have our issues.
Wait a minute. Let's compromise and take his picture.
There's not a flash going, is there? No, okay.
That red thing that goes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll speak to her. It's the woman thou hast given me.
Which, outside of your conversion, was the greatest blessing God ever gave to you,
I know.
buddy.
I married up. There's no doubt.
You did. Way up.
Yeah. We're almost unequally yoked. She's so up there.
I'm not sure it's just almost, it may be all together.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm going to need to go arrange different transportation for Steve.
Larry King. Because we've had ministers on our program who said, you either believe in Christ or you don't. If you believe in Christ, you're going to heaven. And if you don't, no matter what you've done in your life, you ain't. I wonder what minister would ever say that on the Larry King program. It wasn't Deepak, I'll tell you that.
And you move from one truth that crystallizes to the next truth, but you're putting bricks in a wall. And it's not just a one brick wall. It's multiple texts and multiple... in his dreams. He's always trying to do an impression of me. So
you were saying?
Speaking of baptism, I just read the questions. I know it's a huge and often controversial subject, but could anyone give some advice to someone who struggles on the pedo versus credo baptism subject, who has been praying but still is torn between the two sides and is hoping to have children as soon as the Lord wills? Thank you.
Nope.
That's a really easy one. Have the child baptized.
Well, I would say this.
6.5 hours later.
So only to have somewhat of equal time, so anyway, I realize I'm odd man out, but as John Knox said, God plus one makes majority.
And when you talk about God's permitting it, you know, that's a weak answer, really, because he does more than permit it. But at
He
least,
just might get vaporized.
At the very least,
Listen to the response of one of the biggest, grandest Christian so-called leaders in America. Yeah, I don't know. I still think he'd make a great weatherman someday, but... His wife's really a better preacher, but anyway. So here it goes. Can we get some air conditioning in here?
And if we fumble the ball here, then it's kind of like if you don't touch first base, it doesn't matter if you go to second or third, you're out. That's a baseball analogy, Derek. His wife is the baseball fan in their family. He's out shining his pickup truck out in the out in the driveway.
King, what if you're Jewish, as he is? What if you're a Muslim and you don't accept Christ at all? Question mark. The answer, you know, I'm very careful about saying who would and who wouldn't go to heaven. I don't know. King, if you believe you have to believe in Christ, they're wrong, aren't they? Referring to the Jews, referring to the Muslims. The answer. I'm just reading this, okay? Well, I don't know.
well, you know, my favorite, one of my favorite theologians gave advice on that. It was John Wayne. He said,
Well, Pilgrim, tell me.
He says, smile when you say that, partner.
Because it's a very important question, and it's a question that, relates to, do you only read the New Testament, or do you also read the Old Testament? You know, why in the New Covenant does God exclude a category of people that he loved in the Old Covenant, namely children? But no, we don't want to go there. And
please add to that.
Well, the good and necessary consequence would be something like infant baptism and that great text in Acts chapter 2. But I won't...
RC is still with us.
to you and to your children.
Yes.
But the doctrine of the Trinity, because I love you.
That's becoming debatable, but go ahead.
6.5 hours later.
And at that point, you're drawing a good and necessary consequence. I'm done.
We're done?
We're done.
I was wanting to reread
well,
the question.
Well, we could go back to...
Because
I think we left the question
I think we
a while
left the
ago.
question. All of a sudden we got to infant baptism, and it's like,
All
I
right.
just would like to see that question one more time.
Why does God allow polygamy in the Old Testament? God's plan for marriage is clearly defined in Genesis 2:24. But there seems to be a disconnect between the principle and the practice.
Since Bob is Mr. Old Testament, we'll let Bob deal with all the children from the polygamy relationship. All those holy children. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, are we moving on? Are you sufficiently triggered?
I don't know if I believe they're wrong. I spent a lot of time in India with my father. I don't know about all their religion, but I know they love God. No, they don't. They hate God. I don't know. I've seen their sincerity so on worldwide television, so I don't know. Give us some men who know the truth. And who will declare the truth. And who will stand with Athanasius and Polycarp and Calvin and Luther and Whitefield and Edwards, and who will declare from the housetops that the gospel is the power of God unto salvation.